You see, I came from a very, very impoverished background, I could say, because my mom died when I was just 2.5, leaving myself and my younger brother and 7 kids to a poor, impoverished father in the 60s. And this, so we all grew up tough. From the age of 5, I had to take responsibility for things. One thing that my father did for all of us, one thing that I know he gave me abundantly was love. There was there was never any bitter words from his mouth. He was so religious. When you talk about religiosity today, for him, I thought he was an angel when I compared him to what people call religion today. I was always an avid reader. I was always I read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. One of my first book ever, even that got me into self development, would have been a book I read while I was still a young man in Nigeria, the Philosophical Essays by Tam David West. Philosophical Essays. Writing books is not something I set out in life to do. It wasn't actually. I never thought about writing books. I've always taken interest in literatures and English language and so on. But my career path starting off in life professionally is accountancy. So I trained in accountancy. Uh, Qualified as an accounting technician, then moved on to SEMA, got a job in that line, and I progressed up to corporate level. And when I felt dissatisfied, that was when this journey began. But it didn't start straight away. It wasn't something that I just woke up one night and said, I want to write a book. No, I had taken this bold step of self-retirement from corporate engagement into self-employment, setting up my own businesses and all that, traveling around the world and hoping to achieve the greatest success ever. For one time, I had almost 50 million products to buy and sell and all that stuff. So all of that, you can see I've become a very big entrepreneur of my own, with partnerships around the world. We traded on things like fish and timber and so on, commodities trading company. That fell through. Then we set up another company with a new partnership. This time around, the embassy of Nigeria got an inquiry to go to Nigeria to source timber and all that. That he has buyers. So I went into partnership, and we all put up, we all made all our own commitments, threw everything into it, and went sourcing the timbers. We brought almost 40-foot containers into Ireland. Somehow, our lead, the man that took us into that business, wasn't everything he said he was about his expertise and the market lead. So the products we brought in were not of the standard, and we could not sell. That broke me down completely. I continued to strive. I continued to work hard, drive for success in many areas. Some of these things I was looking for, I thought was out there. Most of my intentions and actions were not in alignment with my subconscious self. And these are things we don't know most of the time. Because look around you, you see, why do people do what they do when they know what they know? Why do we have all this education, all this information, all these ideas all over, and yet we fall short in character? But as an avid learner, as a lifelong learner, my curiosity never stops. I never stop questioning, never stop learning things, never stop reading more books. And that led me to more and more and more revelations about what actually drives us. The Sixth Sense came about when I stumbled into the books of Dr. Emmett Fox, Joseph Murphy, and Neville Goodall, and all the books out there. I read more, I studied more, and then I realized that there is something more powerful. There's something more powerful than everything else that we can see by our own eyes, and that is our subconsciousness. And that subconsciousness happens to be the sixth sense, because what drives us outwardly, our objective self, our consciousness, is actually made of five senses. What we see, what we smell, what we touch, what we taste. Once we begin to see ourselves as part of everything, then we begin to take responsibility for our actions. Once we're able to change our inner being towards positive, towards things that matter, that make sense to us, that make sense to everybody, particularly embracing and encapsulating everything into love. The most powerful thing ever that the subconscious responds more to is love. Empower your sixth sense with love and responsibility. Everything else will fall into place. Everything else. Now the sixth sense is packed with tools that can enable anyone who chooses to commit to it. Tools of affirmation that can help us redirect and re-engineer the subconscious and make us live more fulfilling life, much happier life, abundant life. Anyone that consciously, with an open mind, commits to the tools and concepts in this book within 30 days, and for maximum effect 90 days, that person would have 360-degree turnaround in their mental being. The paradigm shift will be incredible. A situation that will arise, that the person, anyone that uses the concepts and the tools in that book will become more spiritually evolved, will have clarity of purpose. It's in that book. And it's written in simple language. Very, 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 very simple language. It's not a story handbook. It's a book that one can open any page. Any page. Any line will tell you something, will resonate with something that can help someone grow and be better. That's the purpose of that book. One thing for sure, fear will be driven out and love will set in.